My name is Oo Cheng Hong and I come from University Malaysia Police, and my title of the Simulink Student Challenge is Automated Food Dehydrator. So let's take a look from the problem statement. So the existing food dehydrator have a problem of they cannot actually detect the drip loss on different food. So as different food are placed in the food dehydrator, the user have to set their own time and temperature for the dehydration process. And there's also external factors that affects the dehydration rate. For instance, the food that they put inside, like apples and orange, they come from different species, thus they have different moisture content, and they can't be static on their selection of temperature and time. They have to be dynamic, and they have to decide on how much this product weight and how much the time and temperature need to be assigned to the food dehydrator for the dehydration process. So this is my objective of my automation design. So the food dehydrator can perform the whole dehydration process without any input from user. It can detect the temperature on itself. It can detect the temperature and weight by itself and measure the weight over time and just perform the dehydration on automated design. So we actually also can maximize heating efficiency for food that have a lower moisture content, like they lose weight slower, we can actually increase the heating efficiency by increase the temperature, and this also by automation. It doesn't need any input by the user. So these are my literature review on existing data. So most of the food, they actually have the weight loss based on these four weight loss over time, which is 2, 1.5, 1 gram, and 0.5 gram per minute. And these are the times that the weight of the food can lose over time. And 0.5 to 1.5 is a lower efficiency weight loss. So we want to maximize it into 2 gram per minute, which is the maximum dehydration rate. And when the weight change over time is 0 gram per minute, it actually indicates that the dehydration are already completed. So the average working efficiency of food dehydrator is 4.8 hours for fruits and 2.6 hours for vegetables and 1 to 3 hours for vegetables and herbs. It actually very depending on the temperature and the time assigned to the dehydrator. So we want to maximize it by increasing the heat for things that have higher moisture content. So when the machine detects it has higher moisture content, it will actually increase the temperature assigned to the dehydration process. So this is the average dehydrator. It only consists of a tray that have no sensors or any weight balance, and just a fan that blows up hot wind to dehydrate the food. And this is my design. So the weight balance for my own design of food dehydrator will actually wake the food for minute 0, and it will start heating. On the initial wake, and when the heating start, there's no measurement taken on the weight of the food until minute 5, where the dehydrator will stop the heating and measure the final weight, like the W2, the second weight. So after measure the second weight, they actually can calculate how much weight loss has happened during the dehydration process. So this is the loop of the whole dehydration process. So for every 5 minutes, it measures the weight change, and the process control system responds to the weight change and increase, or if the weight loss is already at 2 gram per minute, which is the highest efficiency, it will remain on the temperature and remain on the time. And if it's lower, like 0.5 to 1.5 gram per minute, it will increase the temperature of the dehydrator to make it quicker to reach 2 gram per minute. And it will eventually loop this until it reaches the highest heating efficiency, which is 2 gram per minute. And also, after that will be 0 gram per minute is when the dehydration is complete. Now I'll start my explanation on the Simulink simulation process. So this on the left-hand column is the sample system to be tested, and these are the control loops to be entered, and here are the responding output of the control loop. So for the first part is the feed system. So to be tested, there's actually input that are measured by the weight balance from the dehydrator, the weight balance inside the dehydrator. So for example, the initial weight is 5, and at minute 5, the final weight is 2.5. So let's feed this information to the system and run it. So after it run it, it actually will tell us which control loop it enters. So if it's not, it will show invalid, like this, invalid, invalid, invalid. So it's not entering this control loop. It's actually entering this fourth control loop. So it's entering this, it show heating on, which is you enter this control loop, and it will actually tells that do this system need to be maximized or not. So when the system is maximized, it will show heating maximized, and it will show how much temperature is required, which is here at additional 75% of temperature of the initial temperature. So why is it 75% temperature? Because the gram per minute is actually very low at 0.5, which is we don't really desire this weight change over time. We actually desire higher weight change over time. So the increase of temperature is need to be higher. So next, let's test on something that have higher weight change over time, like this apple. For example, this apple, let me run. So the weight change over time is 1 gram per minute, which is actually higher than the previous sample. So you can see just now we used this control loop. Now it shows invalid. Now it's using this control loop. So this will be turn on the heater on and indicates that it enters this control loop. And next it will show how much heating is required. So now it shows unrelated for the output that just now I demonstrated. So now it actually shows additional 50% temperature, and the heating also maximized. So this actually depending on what is the weight change over time, like how much the weight loss over time of the food. So for the heating that's actually were completed, I can actually show, for example, this grape, the initial weight and the final weight is 20, which means there's no more weight change over time, which means all of the moisture content are already used up. So I can see and run it. So there's zero weight change over time, 0 gram per minute. So if there's no weight change over time, it means the drying is already completed. So you can see on the top, these 4 control loops all shows invalid because there's no more weight change over time, and there's only one that shows drying completed, which is this one. This display shows drying completed because the drying is already done. And that's all for my presentation, and this is all my overall control loop. Thank you.